Tennis is a pretty expensive sport, especially when, like me, you're traveling all around the world in search of rankings points. Now, have you ever wondered how much a touring pro actually spends? I'm going to break it down by tournaments, training, extras, everything like that. And I'm not sure whether I actually want to know my final figure, but let's break it down. So let's break down the main cost, which is tournaments. We're going to split it up into a few different categories. We've obviously got accommodation, probably the biggest one. We've got flights. We've also got transport, so between the events, taxis, stuff like that, rental cars. We've also got food, obviously I need to eat. And finally, we've got stringing costs at the event. So, 5 categories. Let's break it down. So like I said, I've played in over 11 different countries and 20 events this year. Some more local, like UK. I played a couple in Loughborough, Aldershot and Roehampton, which were pretty easy cost-wise. But I've also had some crazy trips like Indonesia and America. They were a little bit more pricey. So on the screen now, you're gonna be seeing all of my hotel costs across the year, broken down tournament by tournament. The most expensive one has to be Indonesia. We stayed in some pretty decent hotels and I was there for a total of 30 nights at around £120 a night, which was pretty pricey, coming to like £3,600 for that 30-day trip. So in total, it came to £12,650 on hotels. Let's look at flights. Again, main flights coming from America, Indonesia. Flights to Indonesia cost about £2,500 there and back, and a couple internal flights. We went via Singapore. So our total for flights was £6,170. Of course, you can reduce those once or twice. Like this trip to Cape Town, I did use some points to redeem a business class flight here, which was amazing. And I only ended up paying £200. So there are a couple tips and tricks and travel hacks. If you want to see more travel hacks, then I'll leave a link to my second channel in the description. I might make a video on how to get cheaper business class flights and reward flights and stuff. Taking a look at food, on average, I'm spending around £30 a day. Breakfast is usually included, but over 15 weeks, 7 days a week, comes to around £3,150. Transport is taxis, car rentals. I'm taking a rough figure. I'm gonna guess around £1,500. 1 or 2 tournaments, we had a car rental. And finally, stringing. I'm no longer playing with natural gut anymore, so these strings aren't breaking as often. So I'm gonna be stringing around 3 per week, I wanna say, and at 3 rackets a week over the 50 weeks that I'm playing is about £1,000 on average, taking, I don't know, an average stringing cost these days, probably about 20, 30 quid. So that takes the total to £24,470 for tournaments. That's pretty pricey, but that is also a full-time schedule. I've played 20 to 25 weeks in the year of tournaments, but I'd like to try and lower that if I can. So now we're gonna take a look at the training costs. These are the costs where I'm at my base, at home, working on my game. Now these are gonna include my physio, my gym, my coach, and then some extra training weeks like at Moratoglu or at home in general, squads, stuff like that. So let's start off with physio. I did see a physio quite a little bit at the beginning of the year, and I like to see the physio at the tournaments. On average, a physio is costing around £50 an hour, and I've probably seen them around once a week. So the total cost for that is probably gonna come to around £2,000 on physio. My personal coach is a little bit of a tricky topic in terms of money, because obviously the costs do vary in terms of whether he's coming to trips, whether it's a day session, half-day session. So I've kind of taken an average over the year. I've been working with my coach Paul. You will have seen him in some videos, probably around £7,500 on coaching in general. Of course, I've got to stay in shape. So the gym that I pay for is around £200 a month, which comes to £2,400 in total for the year. But I also get free court hire. I get a spa, I get a gym, so I think it's really worth it when I am in the UK. And then also in terms of training weeks when I'm at home, and also training weeks at Moratoglu. So training weeks at Moratoglu, the deal that I have with Dunlop is that I get a free training week with them, so thank you to Dunlop. So all I have to do is basically pay for the hotel, so about £2,000 on Moratoglu training weeks. And then we've got like squads and little bits and pieces, which probably come to around £1,500 in the year as well, which brings the total cost to £14,600 in total for all of those training related costs. Pretty pricey. Cost category number 3 is equipment costs, like this bad boy. So obviously Dunlop sponsors me on my rackets, my strings, shock absorbers, grips, all of that good stuff. What I do have to pay for is clothes and shoes. At the moment, I'm currently burning through around 2 pairs of shoes per month, which cost me around £80 on average. So in total for the year, that's a spend of £1,920 just on tennis shoes, which just is crazy. Of course, like I said, I also have to buy my own clothes. I bought the On running kit recently, which was just pretty fire. Let's call it £1,000 on clothes. I think I haven't actually spent that much. I take a few supplements, which I use just to stay healthy. So I'm spending around £40 to £50 a month. So that's coming to about £600 a year on average for all of those supplements. So in total for my equipment costs, I'm spending around £3,500 on all of those different areas. Now, I would say if you want to grab any gear, any tennis shoes or any kit, there'll be a link in the description where you can check out our tennis warehouse link. This is an affiliate link. where you can basically buy on their website, and obviously I get a small commission, and so it helps out the channel a lot. If you do want to check it out, I even have my own player page, so all of the clothes, rackets, shoes that I'm actually using and buying on a regular basis, you can go and check out there. You can also check out some other pros, Sinner, Alcaraz, what they're using. Okay, so the final cost is the extras. Now, there's pretty much only one extra, and that's the tournament entry fee. On average, it's around £30, and I probably entered around 20 tournaments in total, so it's about £600 for tournament entry fees. That comes off your prize money usually. So before we take a look at the final figure, last year I spent £22,100 on my tennis journey. Has it increased or has it gone down? Let's take a look. So the final figure this year I've spent is £43,170, which is pretty crazy. I would never have been in a world where I would be able to even spend close to that number on my tennis and on my dreams without you guys. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's watching these videos, supporting me. I really appreciate every single one of you that watches, likes, and subscribes, because you make my dreams possible. And I really just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Now, is there a cheaper way to become a pro in tennis? Now, I'm sure some of you guys might be thinking, I can't spend that amount of money, or how can I do it without spending that much? Well, there is another route, which I personally didn't take, but I know a lot of up-and-coming juniors do, which is college tennis. Now, I recently sat down and did a podcast about college tennis with a former college tennis player who's now looking to go pro. And I think there were a few really cool takeaways from the benefits of college tennis, which I obviously myself didn't take. And he educated me a little bit on why it's so good and why a lot of players should use it as an option, because what college tennis does provide is scholarships, which means you can basically go there almost for free in some cases to go and study and train for 4 years and come out at the age of 22, 23, which is still 2 years away from me, to then come out and play pro tennis and give it a proper shot without having to spend, let's say, 40,000 over 3 years, which is over £100,000 to just make your dreams possible, okay? So here are a few of the questions which I found really informative, and let me know what you think down in the description, whether you think my route is better, college tennis is better, or in general, what you think of college tennis. Drop a comment down below. And obviously, coming out of college and now, wanting to play the tour, you've kind of had that full college experience. Is there any advice that you'd give to players kind of considering college, but also potentially, trying to get recruited and go into college at this time?
What I can say is pretty much to everyone really is that if you're not like an Alcaraz, like a complete stud, and you can play ATP 500s at the age of 17, 18, I would recommend everyone to do the road of college. Because if you look at these top 10 schools, Florida, West Virginia, the recruits are already ATP players.
Yeah.
And if you just go there for a year, you get your experience, you have because like what I love about US is the hardworking mentality. It's completely like changed the lifestyle we do here in Germany, because the coaches are all about technique, doing things kind of in a easy way, but it's not really like, hey, I'm going to push you to your limits. And that's what I learned in 5 years. And if you can just figure that out for you, because you need that kind of mindset. If you want to really make it, you have to love the hard work. Like if you don't love it, then it's going to be hard.
I've heard some of my friends are at college, they're telling me the coaches just absolutely pushing
And if it's not like for you, I mean, I'd say you can still go back home to Europe and do it your own way, but I would recommend to anybody to, if you have the chance, if you have the opportunity to do it, and if it works out financially, you got to take that chance and do it.
So guys, thank you for watching. I hope the number wasn't too crazy for some of you guys. It was a pretty expensive year. I also had quite a few injuries, so maybe it could have been even more expensive, which I don't even want to imagine. But I really appreciate you guys for watching, sticking around. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.